On this week's episode, episode 5 of The Last of Us is out early, a non-spoiler review. Knock at the Cabin shows Dave Bautista is truly an excellent actor. A Boston Celtics legend celebrated in a new Netflix documentary, and Boston is a big star of the Super Bowl commercials. For the Hub on Hollywood, I'm James.
I'm Jamie. If you knock on our door, we will let you in. To the Hub on Hollywood. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, Jamie, we have to thank the Super Bowl for blessing us and giving us The Last of Us Episode 5 early. As we know, the new episodes, they come out Sunday night, but because another big popular event is taking place at that same time, HBO decided to let us have it early, and what an episode. This is... I know,
my goodness.
I think every episode so far has rocked the internet and rocked people's souls, but this is yet another one that has rocked me to the core, as well as the Last of Us fan base out there.
Can I tell you? So I watched it early this morning, and as in the middle of watching it, my kids woke up, so they watched the end of it with me, which is
not a good one.
Don't
not a good one to join
do
in.
it. So I'm fully expecting nightmares tonight. It was not, but it was so incredible. It was an amazing episode and another just emotional roller coaster. And are they just going to keep doing this to us? Are they just going to keep ripping us apart? Like, my goodness, like, I'm not even talking about the zombies and the violence. I'm just talking about my emotions, my feelings, James. Oh,
I'm
my
all
God.
for it. They're nailing it. And again, this just goes to show true writing and excellent writing is the foundation and basis for a great, excellent show, because whether there's a lot of dialogue or not, or action or, what have you, if there isn't great storytelling and character development, there's no emotional attachment in order to have these reactions to some of these characters. But episode 5, titled Survive and Endure, follows, obviously the last episode. We are introduced to new characters who cross paths with Joel and Ellie in Kansas City. We're introduced to the characters Henry and Sam, who we see at the last episode, holding Joel and Ellie at gunpoint. Lamar Johnson plays Henry, the older brother of Sam, played by Kayvon Woodard. Just like the actor, Sam is deaf in this episode. And this is actually really cool because that young actor, he's actually deaf, as I mentioned, and this is his first acting role ever.
Well, he knocks it out of the park. He did a great job.
Incredible. And so Henry is trying to get his brother and himself out of the city, and they need Joel and Ellie to help them out because they saw, just how good Joel is with a gun, and they know the city, so they can, help them navigate through the tunnels and get out with the protection of Joel. And non-spoilers, so, fear not. We're not going to ruin anything, but I will say this whole episode is fantastic, with the last 10 minutes really leaving you at the edge of your seats, and the last 5 minutes leaving me with my jaw dropped. Incredible.
Yeah. I would say that there are really great themes explored here. We get revenge, forgiveness, redemption, or not redemption, and just a lot of really interesting sort of character examinations here that I think we get a little bit more in depth than many other shows might go into in a short amount of time, which is very impressive. And just these moments of holy crap and like just screaming, and other ones that just might leave you in a puddle on the ground, like in the fetal position, like what happened? What just happened? And
I know The Last of Us have this recurring process of introducing characters to only have you like really feel attached to them, and you want to see them continue and go on, and it's incredible. I was listening to the podcast because after every episode, a podcast is released, and for episode 5, the co-creators, they were saying that, with these new characters, Sam and Henry, very similar to what Joel and Ellie have, the older one trying to protect the younger one, but they didn't want to feel the same. So have two sets of characters kind of having the identical kind of motive and whatever. And so this is one part that is different from the video game, because in the video game, Sam is not deaf. And so when the creators were like, we want to kind of one, bring more representation to different communities, including the deaf community, but they also want to show a dynamic of two people who communicate in different ways. And so Joel and Ellie have long conversations, mostly led by Ellie, and then Joel responding. And in this one, we see a much quieter, more subtle communication between the two brothers. And that is one part that helps you bond and grow closer to these two characters that you really wish to see more of.
Yeah, it
And
really
so,
draws
great.
you in because he has like a little Etch-a-Sketch type thing that Sam uses to communicate with, and it's like it draws the viewer in because you're looking to see what he wrote, and it brings you closer to them, and it's just that was really great too, and also kind of the examination of like this innocence in the middle of all of this chaos, and kids just wanting to be kids and being kids in this crazy existence was really puts on the feels as well.
Yeah.
It was really, really great, and I wanted to give kudos to the little boy who plays Sam. You mentioned it was his very first role, but you wouldn't be able to
Kayvon
tell.
Woodard.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to tell because he was just so captivating. And so now we see where we go on from here. Every single one of these episodes, as you mentioned, amazing. And you had mentioned also before, I think we started recording, how nice of them to give us like Bill and Frank, like a Bill and Frank, like a positive sort of story
Happy
in the
ending.
midst of all of this chaos when, overwhelmingly that is not the case. So I'm just loving it, just loving it so far, and I think everybody can celebrate the fact that we got this thanks to the Super Bowl a little bit early. So woo, big celebratory
and one last thing
weekend.
one last thing I want to add to the character of Sam, Kayvon Woodard. It was actually pretty cool because the co-creators, they were saying that they were coming down to the wire of finding somebody who can play this role, and they were going through different casting agencies. They're looking for a small boy, black, deaf, between 8 and 11 years old, and casting directors were having a very, very difficult time finding anybody. And so the co-creators, they just got that casting call and posted it on Twitter just to put it out there saying, hey, we're looking for this type of character, this person to fill this role. And they were expecting to get maybe 80 submissions. They got 5 submissions. In the
Wow.
entire world, and Kayvon was one of them, and they were saying that he completely blew everybody away with how likable he was as a kid and having around the set, but also with how good he was for this being his first time acting. And so they're really saying, we really hope that Hollywood notices this and pays attention to them and puts them in movies and more productions, not just because he's deaf or focusing on just his deafness, but because he is a really good actor on his own right. And they said that one thing that they liked about this episode was that they didn't make him being deaf like the main thing, or the main thing that identified him. Like when you watch the episode, you'll learn that he had this disease, and decisions had to be made in order to keep him alive, and that was more of a character trait than his deafness. And they want him to be, this actor deserves to be in other things. And they hope that when he is placed in other projects, it's not just because he's deaf or the character is deaf and they're doing that. They just want more representation and have, these actors, they could play any other role. It doesn't matter what your ability or disability is. But great kudos to that. I also loved the swarm. There's a swarm of infected scene. Crazy scary, crazy good. We get introduced to a new infected called the Bloater, which is like this big tank of a zombie kind of a thing, and that whole sequence, fantastic
Yeah.
action sequence.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was screaming. Then the children were screaming. Then I covered everybody's eyes.
Then I was screaming, and the
Don't
neighbors were
do what I
screaming.
did, people. Don't do what I did.
Don't do what Jamie does.
All right,
No, but
Peppa Pig, everybody. Let's round this up with some Peppa Pig. Here you go, children. I'm sorry.
yeah, so if you've watched The Last of Us, let us know what your thoughts are about the series, about the episodes so far. Comment down below. Again, we are at Hub on Hollywood on all the social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If you are listening to us on any of the major podcasting streaming services, leave us a 5-star review. It really does help out. And if you are watching us on YouTube, hit like, hit subscribe. But you know what else I'm liking, Jamie?
What's that?
I'm liking that Boston's best and brightest. Maybe not the brightest, but the best are sorry, no
God.
jab at anybody. Sorry, I take that back. But
Dang,
Boston's
James.
best are being highlighted in this Super Bowl. Yeah, commercials are coming out, and we know that we talked about Ben Affleck and J-Lo filming a Dunkin' commercial down the street from where I live.
Your Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, and so Dunkin', they came out with a new ad saying something's been brewing with the date of tomorrow. So we're going to get that commercial during the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And then also, not sure if you saw this one, but Sam Adams, they have a new commercial for their beer, basically imagining a Boston where people are actually nice. And we have
this is fantastic.
we have local celebrities and athletes, including comedian Lenny Clark, who was in another DraftKings commercial, and also Celtics legend Kevin Garnett in this one. And it's really it's a love and hate when they release these commercials early, because I think they should come out during the Super Bowl and then play them afterwards. But then you get more and more often they're releasing them early, and I feel like that kind of drains the excitement from it a little bit.
Yeah, I can see how they're trying to build up they're trying to build up that buzz so that people will be really looking out for it during the game. But I can see how it also kind of defeats the point. It's like, okay, well, I saw it already, so now I don't have to do this. But we were talking about when these things were filming in and around Boston, you were on the scene with Kevin Garnett, the Sam Adams commercial.
Yeah, that was that was Lenny Clark. That was a DraftKings commercial at TD Garden. So Lenny Clark was there. Zdeno Chara, Big Papi. David Ortiz was there, Ali Raceman. So, yeah, we had a lot of Boston and Massachusetts-based celebrities and athletes out there. You're talking about the buzz of these commercials. Going back to the Sam Adams commercial, they show Yankees fans being welcomed with open arms, South Boston residents giving up their parking spots, Lenny Clark inviting strangers to the ballet. So that inspired WBZ News Radio's Matt Shear to go out there and create a TikTok about, what would it be like to actually go and confront actual Bostonians and be as nice as possible. And it's a hilarious TikTok, so we'll include a little bit here, but also check out the TikTok at WBZ News Radio, because Matt Shear knocking it out with that one.
Can I carry your backpack for you?
Okay.
Okay, so this weekend you're going to see a Super Bowl commercial about Boston people being nice to each other. That's the whole joke. But it got me wondering, why can't we be a little nicer?
It feels a little weird.
I've seen you on TikTok.
Oh, thank you.
I cannot imagine that. Here's my parking spot. Look, you shovel out your spot, and then you just willingly giving it to someone else.
No. When you're in Southie, it's a bloodbath. It's a blood sport trying to find a parking spot over there. So it is a funny commercial.
Oh, that's awesome. Can't wait. And there's so many Boston commercials, but there's 3 here.
Yeah.
And that's why, and they didn't say it while they were filming it. It was, we were just kind of speculating, well, these have to sort of be for the Super Bowl. Now we know for sure. And that's why people come to the Hub on Hollywood, because we tell you when these things are happening first. We're right out there on the sidewalk, and all these other people getting that there for you. So that's so fun. I can't wait to watch that. And again, because Boston, we're just the center of the universe here.
We're the best. And speaking about how we introduce people and our audience to new and great things happening in New England, the 48-hour film project, we actually talked about that and had an interview talking about that maybe several months ago. And now the organizers for that have this new project highlighting the best movies, local filmed movies in Boston, right?
That's right. So this is being organized by Women in Film and Television in honor of the 20th anniversary of the 48-hour film project. They're going to be screening the first 10 winners from the first 10 years of the 48-hour film project competition. That's going to be happening on March 2nd, 7 p.m. You can go online to 2023 Boston 48 hfp.com to buy tickets. It's going to be, they have some that are in person, or you can participate online. So this is going to be the best of the best 48-hour film project, March 2nd. And I believe that they're going to be organizing a second event for the second 10 years of best movies ahead of the 48-hour film competition, which is going to be underway May 5th. later this year. So all of those teams are starting to get together. In previous years, we've spoken with competitors, with the people who run the project and the competition. It is such a marvelous event for local filmmakers, for people who are experienced or just getting into it. You can put a team together. They give you a theme and a few other things that need to be in your film, and then you have 48 hours to film it, shoot it, edit it, put it together, and then premiere it and see if you win the ultimate prize. So that's a really, really great one. 48hourfilm.com is the place to go to find more information on that and to participate if you would like to.
All right, excellent. And where you should go to enjoy more Boston's Greatest is Netflix, because Netflix has released a documentary on Celtics legend and civil rights activist Bill Russell titled Bill Russell Legend. It's a 2-part documentary featuring interviews before his passing last year, and it highlights his accomplishments with the Celtics and his work for civil rights. And this guy, when you look at just the NBA accomplishments, he is up there on the Mount Rushmore of the NBA's finest. Russell, a 5-time MVP, 12-time NBA All-Star, winning 11 NBA championships with the Celtics during a 13-year career. Doesn't get better than that. It's crazy. So I'm really excited to learn more about Bill in this new Netflix docuseries.
I did not realize that. 11 championships in 13 years?
You don't have enough fingers for those rings. You had to start stacking them up on each other. It's crazy.
Oh, you got to get some toe rings or something. Can't run. You can't play basketball like that, though.
No.
Sorry.
No.
That's interesting. So yeah, on Netflix, and there have been a couple of these documentaries and films focusing on local sports legends that have made it onto the streaming services. So this is just the latest one. Cool. We got to check that out.
Yeah. What was also cool, I believe it was on Netflix, the Lakers Dynasty. It was starring John C. Reilly, Michael Chiklis, who he interviewed for The Hub on Hollywood. He played former, Boston Celtics head coach Red Auerbach. And so,
That's right.
Always great to see Boston's best and brightest being featured for everybody to enjoy, even those Lakers fans over on the West Coast. But what everybody and who everybody enjoys? It's Weird Al. Who doesn't love Weird Al Yankovic?
I think there's some older people who might be creeped out by him, but yes, we all love Weird Al Yankovic.
Really? Are the people that don't like Weird Al?
Well, I feel like the older generation.
too weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's not weird? Having a bioreactor named after him. So a marine project on Nantucket Island, they actually named a photobioreactor after Weird Al. The device apparently is intended to stimulate production of algae at the Brant Point Shellfish Hatchery. I guess they asked the public to suggest names for the machine, and the winning choice was Weird Al Plankovic. And so Weird Al, he tweeted out that it was a lifelong dream come true to have to have a reactor named after him. That's a weird story, but appropriate.
Appropriate for him. And, who wouldn't want something like that named after you? I love it when they put these sort of naming contests out to the public. I don't know if you remember Bodie McBoatface. Was some British naval, I think, ship that got, they're like, name our ship. And, well, you asked for it. Now it's Bodie McBoatface. So I love that. Weird Al Plankovic. Appropriate.
I like that. It's really cool. Now, let's see if you like this, Jamie, because it was announced recently that after the success of Toy Story 1, 2, 3, and 4, we all thought that was the end of it. But apparently not for Disney, because Toy Story 5 has been announced. Initial thoughts, Jamie.
No more!
Do we need this?
No, we do not. Okay, I just feel like at the end of the last 2 Toy Story movies, we got a nice wrap up. It could have been the end. It could have sufficed. Especially at the end of Toy Story 4, I think we got a very nice. Everything was tied up. Spoiler alert.
Woody goes off, yeah.
Woody goes off with Bo, and now they're kind of living their own life, and all the other toys go back with Bonnie, and, it's a full circle for Woody, who,
Yeah.
was very obsessive with Andy in the beginning and, didn't want to let him go and has always had trouble letting go. And now he finally lets go and he's being his own toy, right? His own little man toy. I don't know what that means. He's just being his own toy, right? He's
You don't
being
want
his
a
own
man
person.
toy. That's a whole different thing. Don't Google
All right,
man toy.
don't go in that direction. I'm sorry. But I don't know what other stories they could possibly tell. The
Yeah,
toys are
because the gang-
separated now. Like
They're split up.
they're split up, and I don't think that there needs to be anything else told. I think it was very full circle. All the arcs were fulfilled. Like, what else do we need? What else do we really need?
I don't know. Now, the one thing that's keeping me from being on the This Is Terrible ship is the fact that, after Toy Story 3 came out and I thought, okay, that's a perfect ending to this to the series, to the trilogy. You can't get any better than that. Toy Story 4 came out, and at the time I was like, do we need a part 4? But up until that point, Toy Story has never let me down. And number 4 did not let me down also. It was also a great movie. So there's still that thing in my head. I'm like, yeah, is 5 excessive? It seems so. But at the same time, the movies have only gotten better. I would argue maybe the third one is the best. However, they're all very, very good. And so they haven't done me wrong yet. And so I have to kind of go in with an open mind still. Tim Allen, of course, has a very open mind on this. He, of course, played Buzz Lightyear. He tweeted, "See you soon, Woody. You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity." And off we go to number 5, to infinity and beyond. So, of course,
Okay.
Tim Allen's on board. Let us know if you're on board. Please comment down below. Do we need Toy Story 5? Apparently, they are also making Frozen 3 and Zootopia 2.
Well, when you got something that makes money, Disney knows how to milk it until it dies. Star Wars. Star Wars. But here's one other fascinating, from my perspective. Toy Story, wasn't it the very first fully animated movie ever made? Like back in 1999 or 1998.
I think it was 95,
Or
I think.
was it even earlier? Wow. Yeah. So, very first completely 100% computer animated movie. And to see it still going all of these years later, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty incredible.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is 25 years later?
Yeah.
And still continuing that story. So, I mean, in that way, that's a pretty impressive legacy. And you're right. I mean, Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Toy Story, has never steered us wrong. Except maybe that one part in Toy Story 3 when they all thought they were going to die, and that was just way too gruesome, I think,
That
for
was
kids.
peak. That was peak. I would say that was peak.
But besides that, so I guess we can only just hold our breath and wait. I mean, if it's a good script, Tom Hanks doesn't make bad scripts, okay? So I'm going to put my faith there that he only picks good scripts. So
Have you seen Pinocchio?
I take that back.
There we go.
Hey, his part was good in Pinocchio. It was the only good part, but, his part was good.
I'll have to believe you because I have not seen it. But Disney, as I said, they know how to make money. They also know how to spend it. They say they spent nearly $300 million to make Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, making it one of the most expensive films ever made. For that much money, it better be good, right?
It better be. But I'm scared. I'm scared, James. After The Crystal Skull, which I've repeatedly said my husband almost divorced me because I was ranting about it for like a week straight about how horrible it was. We did get the trailer, and I think that they have fixed some of the mistakes of that previous movie.
Looks
I think
good.
that it looks more realistic. It's not all just CGI BS, but who's writing it? That's my question. Like, it could look good, but the story could be awful. I agree. If you're spending $300 million on it, like, it's gotta be good. God, I hope it is. But I've been burned. Our hearts are a little damaged, I think, after the Crystal Skull. So I go into it with trepidatious hope. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But like the Dial of Destiny, only time will tell if this movie lands. And again, it is the 5th time Harrison Ford is reprising his role as Indy.
Final.
And so hopefully, if this is the last time, which I'm sure it will be, they send him off on a very, very high note. So,
yes. At the convention when they released the trailer, he was crying. And he never cries. He's
No.
famously like, yeah, I
He's a
did
stone.
it because
He's a
they
stone
paid
wall.
me. He is a stone wall, but he was actually shedding tears, and that's my man's, and I will always see my man's. So, Harrison, I love you. Give us a call. And
Now- yeah.
yeah, hope. There's hope.
Now, speaking of shedding tears, people have been shedding tears with laughter after seeing this clip of the new Netflix movie starring Jonah Hill in You People, starring Jonah Hill and Eddie Murphy. It's not getting great reviews, very mixed, if not bad reviews. But the one thing that's being talked about the most is this pivotal kiss scene at the end between actors Jonah Hill and Lauren London. However, people who watched it, they noticed that something looked very, very off with this kiss when they got married. And it was due to the fact that apparently Jonah Hill and Laura London never physically kissed. In fact, CGI was used to make it look like they did. Have you seen the clip of this?
I haven't seen the actual clip.
So-
But I did read the article, and it was one of their co-stars that like spilled the beans in an interview. Schultz, what I don't remember his first name, but one of the actors.
Oh yeah, Andrew Schultz.
Andrew Schultz, there we go. That he was like, he spilled the beans. He's like, it's CGI. I swear to God, it's CGI that they didn't
once
even
you-
kiss.
Once you notice it, you can't unsee it, because what it looks like is that you have the two characters. They're at the altar with the crowd audience behind them, and they go in for that kiss. You see some confetti falling down, and as they get ever so close to their lips, you see like this dark shadow envelop, like emerge from Jonah Hill's beard, like, and onto Lauren London's lips, and you don't actually see physical contact. You just see black, like a black shadow. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Now, some people are saying, you know what, it's not a big deal. It's just a small moment. But it's interesting because I guess Lauren London, she had mentioned because her previous partner, her husband or her boyfriend had passed away, and she had allegedly promised to never kiss any other man ever again. However, people are pointing to another movie with Michael B. Jordan where they do kiss. And so people are wondering, why did she kiss Michael B. Jordan in a film? Why was that okay with her, but not to kiss Jonah Hill for this film? So again, people are
James,
just raising questions. Yeah.
Let me put this question at you this way. Mm-hmm. You're Lauren London.
Okay.
You could either you're in a movie with Jonah Hill or Michael B. Jordan. You've made this incredible promise, but you're in a movie with Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah, I that's a very easy decision. Nothing against Jonah Hill, but Michael B. Jordan, he's like he's on God tier level, even for a straight man.
I'm sure she was forgiven on the other side, is all I'm saying. But I respect that Jonah Hill respected her. If that is, if that was the reason she gave and that's how she felt. I appreciate that the movie respected the boundaries of an actress, which is not something that this industry is known for. Respecting
same
the
time, though,
boundaries of your talent.
I'll play devil's advocate. If you are hired for a rom-com movie where you have to have really good chemistry with your co-star to sell the entire plot of the film, and you don't do the bare minimum of like some of the romantic things you need to do, like one, have good chemistry, which apparently you don't see in the film, but also have a kiss, especially at the pivotal moment at a marriage scene. If you can't do that, then what are you doing, kind of a thing. I get, your
Right.
promise to your past husband. However, at the same time, you have to acknowledge this is a business. And sometimes, married couples in real life have to kiss and have, intimate scenes with other co-stars for the film. I'll leave it there.
James, it is what it is. But here's my other point, my one last point on this, okay? I agree with you, right? When you are an actor and there are certain expectations that are laid out for you ahead of time, that's part of being an actor, that's part of telling a story like that, is making it real, is becoming someone that you're not, and being able to separate, who you are as a person in real life and your character. And that's a very, very important part of being an actor. But there are other points where I think actors are pushed beyond their range of comfort.
That's true.
For sometimes no reason other than, woo, sex scene or whatever. So, my question for you is, where do you think sort of that line exists?
I think if there's a simple kiss scene required, you should be able to do that. If there's a sex scene that you need to do, they have body doubles for that. So accommodations can be made, but if you can't do the simple act of kissing somebody, I think that's a line where I would draw. Me personally, I think anybody could do that.
Okay.
So
That's fair. That's
my
fair.
hot take. Let us know what your hot take is for you people. Did you watch the movie? Did you like
You
it?
people.
What are your thoughts? You people. Did you people watch this movie? Let us know down below. But you know what movie many people will be seeing? It's the new Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania that's coming out on the 17th of this month, coming out very, very soon. One thing that, we get with these Marvel movies, another thing that these actors have to do and commit to, even uncomfortably, is to get swole, to get jacked, to get into shape. And that's no different for Paul Rudd, who in the previous movies has had a shirt-off scene where you see the six-pack abs and all that other stuff. They dehydrate themselves and look great. Not a very ideal or realistic look for most men, but, Marvel. Anyway, so Paul Rudd, he came out saying that he actually struggled to get back into shape for Ant-Man 3. He was talking to Men's Health, and he says that in between projects, he fell off the health train much more than he did in the past, and all of a sudden, his clothes, they were fitting tighter, adding that he became a bit more irritable, self-conscious, really beating himself up. But, like any other hero out there, he was able to rise to the occasion, rise to the challenge, saying that when he can be hyper-focused, he reaches his goal. And that's what he did for this one, working out for 4 months so he could get that required shirtless scene. But that shows, actors, they're just like us. They have trouble every now and then putting on their pants, losing some pounds.
Look, at some point we're going to have to allow Paul Rudd to age. Okay, people? I know he's beautiful. I know he's got this ageless baby boy face, but he is 53 years old. And
Beautiful
it is going to be
53.
harder and harder for him to get, that physique. And I'm kind of pro, I'm glad that he was able to get back in shape because he admittedly, wasn't feeling his best and he was irritable. There are ways to be comfortable and still healthy, and not like killing yourself for the six-pack. But
Right.
At some point, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to let him grow his wrinkles, grow his belly, just be comfortable and let him... And
Age gracefully.
Let him age gracefully. He deserves it. What a cutie. So we're poor Paul. But hey, shirtless scene. Woohoo! Something to look forward to.
Yeah, February 17th coming out very soon. Now, what is out in theaters right now that you could go see is Knock at the Cabin, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie. I watched it recently. It's been out for a couple weeks, but I got around to it. Finally got around to the movie theater in a while to see this film. And this only reaffirms my belief that Dave Bautista is not only the best wrestler turned actor, but he's also standing out as a great actor in his own right because he holds this movie on his shoulders. Though everyone else is good and the movie is good, he is the standout. So Knock at the Cabin is a story about while vacationing, a girl and her parents are taken hostage by armed strangers who demand that the family make a choice to take one of their lives, to give up their life to avert what they think is going to be the apocalypse. This stars Jonathan Groff of Hamilton fame, Ben Aldridge playing Eric and Andrew, a married couple who have an adopted daughter named Wen. Wen in the movie, again, this is a non-spoiler because I believe that you should go into this movie not knowing anything. Go in with as little information as possible. So I'm going to try to give you as little information as possible. But it starts out with Wen playing outside in the woods, a little girl, when Leonard, played by Dave Bautista, walks up to her and starts talking to her. He is soon joined by 3 other people, including Harry Potter's Rupert Grint, Nikki Amuka Bird, and Abby Quinn, who play these 4 strangers. And they eventually overtake the family, tie them up, and tell them that one of them will need to give up their life in order to save the world from the apocalypse. I think this movie is one of the better M. Night Shyamalan movies of recent years. And again, to drive that point home, Dave Bautista is excellent, really showing this range that he has of not only being an intimidating character and a very strong presence in the film, but also very nurturing, very patient, and very subtle in his acting. Beautifully shot, really good pacing. Not a perfect film. Some of the writing, some of the dialogue is kind of wooden and feels kind of M. Night Shyamalan-ish, but I do recommend this movie. If not only for the fact that one of the characters is from Medford, Massachusetts. Rupert Grint's character, who plays Redmond, is from Medford, where we are here, where Ben Affleck and J-Lo filmed their commercial for Dunkin'. And
That's right.
I found a little tidbit. The audience had to get a little like, ooh, like they made that ooh noise in the movie theater when that came up. So I recommend Knock at the Cabin.
Amazing. Because again, center of the universe.
Center of the universe.
Yes, we've got Ron Weasley.
Yeah, I was trying to remember his name. Like, what was his character in Harry Potter? Ron
Ron
Weasley.
Weasley. How
Yeah,
dare
Rupert
you?
Grint, also excellent in this film. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if you're looking for something a little more romantic, I just finished watching La Cocinera de Castamar.
All
Which is
right.
the Cook of Castamar on Netflix right now. It came out 2021, but I'm just discovering it now. Oh, great chick flick. It's a beautiful novela. It's about this duke, this Spanish duke in the 1700s who loses his wife, who he adored, he cherished so much, and then it's all of the politics of him being forced to return to court and with the king, and being pressured to marry again, and then falling in love with this cook who herself has all of these demons and the traumatic past and issues, but she's very nurturing and understanding. It focuses on a lot of mental health issues, which is, I think, very different for this kind of story, which is great, very beautiful. Look, whether or not you're going to enjoy this novella, this show, it depends on how much of a hopeless romantic you are. I'm more on the realistic side. I'm more on the practical, but if he gives up his dukedom, then all of these people are not going to have a job. And then what's going to happen to so-and-so? What are going to be the repercussions? Whereas, somebody who's more romantical than I am would be like, but they just love each other and it's so amazing. It's so passionate. And it's so, so depending on where you are on that scale will determine on how satisfied you are with the story. I was like, nah, the ending could have given me a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I think that other people, like my mother, is more on the hopeless side. I think it's just fantastic, perfect ending for someone on that range of the romantic scale. So, La Cocinera de Castamar, or The Cook of Castamar. You can search for it in English on Netflix. It's a very fun watch. Great period piece.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, let us know down below. Have you watched the show? Are you planning to watch Knock at the Cabin? Are you still taking in what The Last of Us left us they left us in the last episode? Comment down below. Thanks so much for listening to the Hub on Hollywood. Stick around after the credits because we will have casting calls. Some pretty cool, interesting ones this week also. So please stick around. Jamie, they can find us everywhere, right?
You can find us everywhere that major podcasts are heard, from iTunes to iHeartRadio to Spotify. We are there. We are on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on the TikToks. We're on Facebook. Search Hub on Hollywood. You will find us. You can listen to us, and you can also watch us on YouTube. Hub on Hollywood on YouTube, to see a little bit more on there. So find us, like us, share us, join in on the conversation. What should we be talking about? What do you think about our topics? Join in. We'll give you a shout out on the next episode of the Hub on Hollywood.
Sorry, one last question. I didn't want to interrupt, but one last question. Super Bowl weekend, who are you going for? Eagles or the Chiefs?
Oh, I go sports. That's all I can say.
I don't have a strong preference either way. I don't like the Eagles, so I guess I'm leaning towards the Chiefs. But I will say, I think the real winner of the Super Bowl this weekend will be the city of Boston. Just the fact that we have all these commercials, these actors and celebrities out there in full force. So Boston, the real winner of the Super Bowl. But yeah, that's our episode. Thank you so much. Leave your predictions down below. Comment down below. Give us a like. Give us a share. All that jazz. Until next week, Jamie, I'm James.
I'm Jamie. We'll see you then.
Bye.
you for sticking around. Here's the best part of the Hub on Hollywood. If you are an up-and-coming actor or someone who just wants to spend the day with Halle Berry or any of the other amazing A-listers that are constantly in and around Boston, this is where we get you cast in the movies. So we have some pretty interesting casting calls today, James. Productions are a little slow at the moment because we're in the dead of winter, but once spring comes, things are going to be picking up some more.
It feels like spring already, right?
I know. It's been
so great.
such a warm winter.
Knocking on wood.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, let's, no more negative 33 degree days, please. That was an interesting 24 hours. But we are warming up. And Boston University Actors Lab. This is a great opportunity for folks who really want to get into the movie, who you want to start a career. Starring in student films is a great place to start because you get to keep the reel. They're not always paid, but I believe this one is. So we talked about Emerson College last week, and this week Boston University's Actors Lab is looking for people who can commit to their advanced directing class this spring. So they're looking for actors who can be there from 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. most Mondays, starting from February 15th through the end of April. That's every Monday from 2:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. for this class. The actors will be paid a stipend for each class that they participate in, and they will receive a copy of the finished short film that they perform in, which is going to be great for your reel. If it sounds like something that you would like to participate in, go ahead and email your headshots and your resumes and your information to pickmanactorslab@gmail.com. That's Pickman, Pickman, actorslab@gmail.com for that.
And Slay Casting is looking for drag queens for a non-union commercial, which pays up to $1,250 if you are cast. So if you have photos of yourself, a real couple of drag queen couples, send photos, names, contact information, agents if you have one, where you live, and a little bit about yourself. Send all that to slaterealpeoplecasting@gmail.com, slaterealpeoplecasting@gmail.com.
All right, and CP Casting has a casting call for non-union actors for a short film called I Think I'm Gonna Throw Up.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's a great title. They are casting at the end of March. Shooting is going to begin in August of 2023 for this short film, I Think I'm Gonna Throw Up. They're looking for several cast characters. They're looking for characters including Jayla, the lead, which is a teenage, short-tempered, emotional, red-headed lead actress. They're looking for actors between the ages of 16 and 18 years old. Supporting lead is George, Jayla's younger brother, who is going to be a male 10 to 16 years old who must play a 10-year-old. They're also looking for carny ride operators and then teenagers to be at this carnival. Teenage carny girls and boys. You're going to want to send your headshot, reel, resume, name of the character in the subject line to @yanayandrich@gmail.com. So that's ATYANAYANDRICH@gmail.com for the opportunity to be cast in this short film.
I like the description for the carny ride operator. It just says male, ages 40 to 60, mustache.
Yeah,
like
takes his job seriously.
But you need that mustache.
Yeah,
this role hangs on that mustache. No, these are fun casting calls. And again, as always, if you meet any of these descriptions or requirements, send in your information ASAP. If it doesn't work out for you, maybe your friend or family, they're perfect for it. So send them a link to this episode. Get them involved in these commercials and these small film projects. Get them a good demo reel, because I think a lot of that does help down the road in the long run. But great casting calls as always. Jamie, always a pleasure.
Indeed. Ditto, ditto, ditto. Until next week, please join us again. And again, you interact with us, we'll interact with you. We'll give you a shout out right here on the Hub on Hollywood. We will see you then. Until then, I'm Jamie.
I'm James. Bye.
Alrighty. Bye.